Now we are going to set up the Duik IK chain for the ant legs. IK stands for inverse kinematics and is used in animation to link multiple parts of a limb, like the thigh, shin, and foot of a leg, so they react to the movement and rotation of their parent intuitively, without having to animate each individual part. You will see what this means exactly once we have set up our IK chain. The important part at this point is that your parenting is done. First thing we want to do is create controllers for each of the feet. We'll be using the Duik plugin for this, so make sure it's open, highlight your foot and go to Controller and Create. We'll move the controller just above all of the parts of one limb, and then we'll continue doing the same for all of the other feet. If you wanted to make a walk cycle with this ant, you would be using these controllers to animate the legs. You would no longer use the foot, leg, and thigh layers of the limb. Now we want to link the controllers into an IK chain. For this, we want to highlight all of the parts of the limb from the outside to the inside of the body. So we'll start with the foot, then the leg, thigh, and then the controller. Then we want to click on IK, and we want to make sure that we have 2-layer IK and goal selected and lock and shy layers after creation toggled. This means that the original layers will be locked and they will be shied. So just like we have shied all of the other layers that we're not using at the moment, they're still there, they're just kind of hidden from view. From the animation standpoint is that you don't want to use the original layers anymore once you've set up your IK chain. You will be using the Duik controller. So let's do that. We'll create the first IK chain. You've seen that the layers disappeared. They're not gone. They're right here. They're just shy at the moment. Now that we've done this, we want to make sure that the controller works and the IK chain is set up correctly. So we'll move this leg, and as you can see, everything is following this controller. Everything is rotating and bending just like a real leg would. That's exactly what we want. We'll now do that for all of the rest of the legs. Each time we create an IK chain, we want to make sure that it's working in case we've set up something wrong or we've parented something wrong. It's much easier to undo immediately once you've done something wrong than having to repair it later. So as you can see, something went wrong here. So we'll undo this and we'll just check what went wrong. There might have been a parenting issue, so we'll just reparent all of our layers and we'll redo our IK chain. And now everything's moving correctly. That's what we want. It can also sometimes happen that you've moved your anchor point to the wrong position, and that could be breaking the IK chain, so you just want to make sure that everything is where it should be. If you have a lot of limbs, it can happen that sometimes you parent something wrong or the anchor point is not in the correct position. So you always want to check your IK chain. If something went wrong, you can fix it there and then, and otherwise you've got perfectly moving legs. Now what we want to do, let's trim these controllers. And we'll make the body move. So let's solo the rest of the ant body so we can see what we're animating. And we'll add a keyframe to the body. One position keyframe will move 50 frames forward and move the ant body up a little bit. You can already see how the legs are moving intuitively with the body position. You don't have to add any rotation, you don't have to add any keyframes to the controllers or any of the leg layers. It's just moving along. And that's what an IK chain does. Now we'll add an easy ease and a ping pong loop expression. Now we'll also rotate the jaw. We'll add a rotation keyframe here and we'll start at 50 frames just to add a little bit more diversity to the motion. So not all of the keyframes start exactly at the same time. We'll move 20 frames forward and we'll have the first keyframe at plus 5 degrees for the front jaw and minus 5 degrees at the back jaw. And we'll just reverse these to minus 5 degrees and plus 5 degrees. We'll add easy ease. We'll move 20 frames forward and we'll copy paste by marking these keyframes, copying and pasting them here. Now we'll move forward 130 frames. We'll copy paste the whole lot, front and back, Then we'll move forward 90 frames. And we'll change this to +5 degrees for the front jaw and -5 degrees for the back jaw. The reason we're doing this is just to add a little bit of irregularity to the jaws, so the animation isn't so predictable. If we could have just done the first set of keyframes and added a loop expression, and that would have been fine. But that would have been a very regular kind of clamping of the jaw continuously throughout the entire animation. Now we have a bit of clamping, a pause, some more clamping, and then a different length of a pause. So it's a little bit more interesting to watch. Now we want to add a loop expression. Hold Alt as you're clicking on the stopwatch, and we can just leave the expression as it is, as it's a cycle expression as a standard. And now we have a breathing, clamping ant.